Hey guys, Ash here, coming at you today and Watcher of Realms. Welcome to the video, guys. I'm glad to have you all here. We're gonna talk about rare heroes today. Let me ask you guys, I really want to hear from you in the comments because I'm very curious on this one. How many rares have you invested in? Like put gear on, you know, promoted, whatever. How many rares in your entire account? Is it zero? Is it, you know, a few? Is it a lot of them? Let me know, especially if you've invested in somebody who you like, who's not on my list. Today, we're going to rank the top 10 rare heroes in Watcher of Realms from 10 to 1. I want to start out with a couple honorable mentions. You know, back in the day, like 2 months ago, when I was starting this channel, I made a video comparing Raid Shadow Legends, where kind of I come from in this space, if you will, to Watcher of Realms. And in that video, I said that all rares seem to be kind of trash in this game.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong.
Boy, am I eating crow. I probably said a lot of dumb stuff in those early videos, frankly, and I'm probably still saying dumb stuff today, let's be real, huh? But that's not the case at all. That being said, I don't think there's many rares, if any. We'll talk about maybe the exceptions as we go through today's video that really justify taking all the way to level 60, right? I think level 40 and level 50 are going to be fine for most of these heroes, but that doesn't mean they're all trash. Okay, honorable mentions. We have first, this guy, it sucks because he's not bad. He's an AoE damage dealer Nero. He's a rare lord, so you can use him without even building him, just as a lord on your team. But he costs 29.
What the hell is even that?
His damage just doesn't justify. His kit just doesn't justify 29 cost. I wouldn't build him, but I would use him as a lord. So that's Nero, one honorable mention. The other one's actually another lord. It's a defender. I like her a little bit better than Nero because she's more affordable, and it's Dagna. You could build her to level 40 or level 50. She's got some self-sustainability, as well as, again, she's another Lord, a Northerner as well. So you can get utility out of her just from the Lord ability. So those are going to be our two honorable mentions. Now let's get into the list here, guys. So coming in at number 10 is actually another lord. So yeah, there's quite a few epic lords out there in the game, and one that everybody gets for free just as part of the campaign starting out in this game is Borit. So Borit, I don't know, maybe 10 is a little bit of a snub on this dude. I actually like him. He's cheap. He's a lord. He's 14 cost. And hey, when you get him up a bit, you can awaken him, you know, if you get the dupes there. But even promoting him, you'll get a nice stat bonus, and he can be a nice little fighter for you on your squad. The best thing about him is he does have that knockback, right? So you can see his talent when he attacks, 10% chance of knocking the opponent back. Man, that comes in handy. I don't know if it's really 10% because, well, I'm assuming it is, but it seems like it procs an awful lot. His ultimate is an auto cast. Next attack deals a little bit more damage and knocks back the target, and it's super cheap too. So it's some damage, some control, and he's nice and cheap, and he's a lord. You're not going to take him to 60, but you can get by with him in the early game. Really, really nice. He's actually like a pretty good fighter who, again, everybody gets as just part of the campaign or the story in this game. Coming in at number 9, guys, is actually going to be a two-way tie, okay? And there's two marksmen. Everybody knows the really popular rare marksman who we're going to talk about in a bit, and I actually like him the most, clearly. There's two other really good poisoning rare heroes. You don't really need all three. You can get by with one of them, right? So Cutter and Screef are in a two-way tie for position 9 on our list. They both have poison on their basic attack. They're both very simple. They have an ultimate. They have poison on the ult. They have poison on the basic. That's really it, right? Cost of 9. They're really the same. Cutter and Screef. I get them even confused, right? They both cost 9. They both have the same range. They both have the poison. They both have the poison on the ultimate. Where are we going to be using these guys? Well, obviously in Guild Boss, right? Guild Boss is going to be tremendous. Poison does a lot of damage. Poison also scales on the max HP of the target, so it's very, very nice. They do a lot of damage. Furthermore, we can use them in Artifact Raid, right? We can switch them in in with our healer on that one platform as you progress an artifact, and they can do a lot of DPS for you, swapping in when you don't need the heals and out when you do need your healer in there. So those are just two areas that I use those rare poisoners personally. Number 8 on the list, guys, actually pretty solid for the early game. It's Rex. So Rex is actually a really robust defender, right? He's nice and easy, he's defensive, he has some control built in as well. He has a 30% chance to trigger a shield bash to attack multiple enemies up ahead, inflicting attack reduction on them for 3 seconds. It's nice to have an attack reduction. It's only 5%, but it does mitigate some damage. But what he's really known for, of course, is his shield. His shield is really solid, especially for a rare in the game. And again, we get him for free. So take him to 40, take him to 50, and he will definitely, you can ride him out as your main defender in the early game as you're progressing, right? Every 30 seconds, cast a shield that can absorb damage equal to 40% of max HP for 10 seconds. It's on a 30-second cooldown. You can book down the cooldown as well. So just prioritize, obviously, his HP, right? Stack him with a lot of HP. He'll have a really beefy shield, and then eventually you'll get Olog, and you can upgrade to the best shield defender in the game. Coming in at number 7, it's the first healer on the list. It's Camille. So Camille is a magic healer. She's very, very good for a healer. I think she's the best just raw healer support out of any rare champion out there. Every time she heals on her talent, there's a 30% chance to reduce the cooldown of Holy Word, shield by 1 second. Let's go ahead and start with the Holy Word shield. Let's start with that. Every 20 seconds, she's casting Holy Word. Why do I have a problem with the word word? Come on, Ash. Get with it, bro. Shield can resist damage equal to 84% of the attack on the ally with the lowest HP in range for 10 seconds. So it's a really nice shield with whoever needs it the most, right? And then she's got great continuous and burst healing. She's very competent, can stand on her own alongside even epic healers out there in terms of burst healing. Look at her ultimate. 200, super cheap, auto cast, restores HP to 220% of her healing multiplier for the ally with the lowest HP in range, which is usually, hopefully, your tank, right? So at a fairly low cost at 16 as well, she got single target healing on her basic. So a really nice healer. Again, that ultimate is cheap and it's very effective at whoever needs it the most. Same thing with her shield. Coming in at number 6, it is Lucas, the marksman. So Lucas is a really, really cool dude. He only costs 10, and he is all about the slow. So on his basic, he has a slow. On his ultimate, 300. Hero shoots an ice blast arrow upon the next attack, dealing 130% AoE damage to the target and up to 10 enemies around. So little AoE damage, not a ton of DPS from this champion, to be fair, but a lot of control. He's got slow for 10 seconds, movement speed minus 50%. Now, the problem with this dude, the reason he's not a little bit higher on this list is because we have Mari as well after 3 days of playing this game. So why would we want him when we all get Mari is the question. Well, the answer to that is A, you can use them both to cover different areas of the battlefield, and B, even though he's not quite as good in terms of his overall kit compared to Mari, well, he does have a bigger range. So in some situations, you might want to use him instead of Mari just for that range, depending on the battlefield that you're on. So either way, great slower, great control, and he's cheap, easy to build, a Lucas.
You got it, dude.
Coming in at number 5 is Autumn, the rare version of Dolores. Dolores is arguably the best hero inside the game. She's very similar. Again, if you don't have Dolores, it would behoove you to check out Autumn, the red owl. As comforting as the changing leaves, Autumn uses AoE heals and boosts critical hits. That's exactly right. She can boost your damage. She does have attack-based healing to all allies in range on her basic. She's not an insane healer or anything like that, that. She's all about boosting your damage. The heals can be nice though. She only costs 5, just like Dolores. She grants critical damage increase by 30% on her ultimate, and then furthermore on her Wrath of the Maple, her passive, when using Gold Maple's boon, which is, yes, her ultimate, grants also critical rate increase to allies in range of 10%. So we're basically getting more damage, obviously off the ult, and we're also boosting up, that crit rate, which can be really essential, especially in the early game where it can be challenging to get 100% crit rate on everybody on your team that you want to be doing damage. So there is Autumn coming in at number 5. Coming in at number 4 is Voltus, guys. Voltus, who has kind of his 2 forms, right? He is the first kind of AoE DPS that we get, and this game is incredibly generous. I remember being pretty floored with how good Voltus was for me. You know, even into the mid game, right? He deals a staggering amount of damage for a hero that everybody just gets right out the gate. So really a big fan. He's pretty basic though when we talk about him, right? He has a bounce attack on his talent, a 50% chance to bounce to more targets. His AoE damage on Lightning Storm, calls the Lightning Storm, lasts for 20 seconds, extended range, strikes up to 5 enemies, 90% AoE damage. It just adds up, man. He's a very competent AoE mage who, well, again, everybody gets, and everybody can ride out even at level 50 for quite a while inside this game. There's so many areas where you need AoE DPS. There's so many areas where you need mages, and Voltus really does have you covered. So go ahead and invest with confidence. You will definitely use this guy for a long time inside the game. Number 3 is Cuke. So Cuke is the bigger brother, I would say, of Cutter and Screef, right? I love Cuke. You guys know how much I love this dude. I use this dude. These guys I was talking about earlier in terms of, you know, a key part of my DPS strategies in various areas of the game. I mentioned Guild Boss and Artifact. The reason that he's, you know, 3 and his little brothers, Cutter and Screef, are a little bit lower on the list, and I'm really splitting hairs here, right? They can all be a competent poison. He just has one more poison ability on the poison trap. Every 10 seconds, he's placing a poison trap on the ground in range, which will be triggered once an enemy steps on it. Just be careful because you can't deploy a hero where the poison trap is. That's the only downside. But it's dealing damage as well as immobilized, unable to move for 3 seconds, and poison on top of that. And of course, he does have the poison abilities as well, just like his little brothers do. So I like Cuke, and again, all 3 of these. You only need one, really. I prefer Cuke, again, for the extra ability there, but they're all going to be essential to so many teams and so many accounts inside this game. So number 2 is Decimus, guys. So Decimus, if you're not familiar with him, well, listen up. He's going to be an important part of even endgame strategy. That's why he's ranked so high on the list, because endgame viability from a rare, to me, even if it's very niche, only one area or 2 areas of the game, I think that automatically makes you a top contender for a rare hero in this game. So yeah, it costs a 17. He's got a basic, you know, he's got an ultimate, increases his attack, whatever. It's really about Defiance, which is his passive, which makes him so special. He's really S tier in Gear Raid 2. You know those dudes who do, like, you know, somersaults and roll into you and do insane damage? Well, when HP drops to 0, the hero remains alive and continues to fight for 6 seconds. You can get that up to 8 seconds. During this time, his attack is increased. He'll die immediately afterwards. Duration cannot be revived as well. So this ability to allow him to stay alive when he's taking, you know, insane amounts of damage allows him to just basically eat an entire hit on those whirly twirly dudes. What are they called? I need to know the name of those enemies. You know what I'm talking about on Gear Raid 2. It makes him one of the best dudes to take those hits in Gear Raid 2, right? Furthermore, we can use him in Guild Boss, right? So if we know we're not going to break the shield, then we're going to take tremendous damage, but we don't want our battle to end, we can go ahead and keep him there as the only hero on the battlefield, pull everybody else off, allow them to, well, not die and recoup that cost, and then drop them back on, right? So he can be a very good Guild Boss champion. I think that Murder Inc., Watcher of Realms, so I'm trying to do a collab with soon too. He has a good video about Decimus in Guild Boss if you want to check that out in action. Let's move on to number 1. So I'm very curious if you guys agree or disagree with my ranking here. Initially, I'm just going to be transparent. When I was making this little list, I had my man Cuke as number 1. It's because I love him so much. but I do think that Narvi is probably the most unique. Well, there are obviously epic versions of like all of these champions, to be fair, right? Or legendary versions. But I think that Nari personally could probably give you the best bang for your buck because of her cost regen. Very effective, right? And you can really use her for a long time, and she's super easy to build. On top of her cost regen, which we'll get to in just a minute on her passive, Encourage gives her gives inspiration. Now, inspiration is what makes Dolores so incredibly strong. It's increasing the attack proportional to the caster's attack. She's got it on a rare. Only difference is, of course, it is a 2 random allies 10% inspiration, okay? So it's the watered down version by quite a bit. It's also restoring 8 cost and lasting for 10 seconds. So cost regen, if you have not invested in a hero in this game with cost regen, well, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's regenerating your cost. It's also restoring. Restores HP equal to 10% of max HP and 3 cost every 18 seconds. So she's just restoring your cost and making everything, well, obviously less expensive to play on the battlefield. So it can have a profound impact and help you really clear those roadblocks, those plateaus that you hit in this game, which is inevitable in so many areas. Sometimes if you're able to churn through heroes a little bit faster, if you're able to afford that last hero at that last split second a little bit faster, well, that can make all the difference. And Narvi really adds that potential to a lot of teams, right? She can just chill over there, she can grant some inspiration, and then she can just always just churn out that cost reduction as she's on the battlefield. So guys, I put her as number 1, very unique in terms of rares, has a little bit of some of the best abilities, I would say, in the game, in the inspiration, albeit again a very watered down version, and I'm just a massive fan. She's cheap, 10 cost, can block 2, just put her out there as a fighter, build her tanky, and she'll just start reducing the cost of everybody else, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know who I snubbed, who did I leave off the list, and a reminder, you guys, pretty much every hero that we talked about in today's video, I don't think you need to take him to level 60. Take him to level 50, take him to level 40 even. See if you can get by there. You'd be surprised at how much utility these heroes can add to your account even without maxing them. Save your resources. It's expensive and it takes a while to get a hero all the way to 6-star promoted. Save them for your OP epics, save them for the Maris and the Wraths and the Ologs of the world, and then just get utility out of these awesome rares just at level 40 or 50. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.